What's going on, everybody? Ballard here. Christian Ballard Sports Media, coming at you. Just hanging out on a Tuesday. Kind of got some notes here. Working on some math as well. Got a test tonight, so a review. But figured I'd go live for you guys this afternoon. Apologies for last night. I don't know what went on that stream. I had opinions, and like I mentioned, when it comes to sports, anything can, not, I don't want to say can and will, but could happen. Of course, I want Alabama to win every game. Of course, I think that they can. Outside of the A&M game, of course. They could win out still. They could still win the title. Of course they could. They're one of the top teams in the country year in and year out. They're one of the top teams this year. Hell, they're ranked at what, 3 or 4? If I'm not mistaken. Now, tonight, let me just say this. Let me turn that off. I'm having lunch. Plus, the lighting kind of sucks with the reflection. I'm just kind of sitting here anyway. So tonight is the first college football playoff ranking show. I always love it. I always enjoy it. And what do I expect it to be? I expect it to be pretty similar to what this week's AP poll looks like. Now, maybe you could switch a few teams around. I don't know if that'll be the case. But has there ever really been a week where literally the AP poll that we had, has there ever been a week where literally we had the AP poll and then, because, that's on Sundays and they do the CFP ranks on Tuesday. You have it come out Sunday. 2 days later, you get the CFP poll and it's the exact same thing. Has that ever actually happened? I don't know. I don't think it has. And I don't think that's going to be the case. Because, I even look at it, and I'm sure you guys probably look at it and say, this team shouldn't be ranked. Or how is this team not ranked? Or how is this team in the top 10 and not this team? Or, you get what I'm saying. What we do know is Georgia is the number 1 team, for sure. That's a given. You see it here, and I know that. I'll admit it. Kirby's doing a great job. He's doing a great job this year, by the way. What's up, Nathaniel Worcester? How you doing? I hope I said that right. Is it like the sauce, Worcester sauce, or whatever it is? If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's in a way it's like a steak sauce, I think. But it's timing out on me. Hold on. Give me 1 second. It says I'm connected to the internet. Oh, there we go. It's acting up a little bit. Yeah, I like the sauce. Cool. Anyway, get back to this. Let me full screen this for you guys. Let's look at this. So, of course, the AP poll comes out on Sundays. Sundays. Yeah. So this was this week. Bama on a bye week. Cincinnati played Oklahoma. Michigan now in the top 5. It's not going to be exactly like this, but, the committee doesn't look at it like, okay, where are they right now in the AP poll? No, they finally are getting together in a room, and they're finally saying, you know what? This is who I like at number 1. I really like Oklahoma, or I really like Georgia, or, and there's I think there's 10 or 12 different members, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's more than that. I don't know. But it's like, they all have to vote, and whoever gets the most votes for number one, I'm assuming it's Georgia. That's who's number one. And, whoever ends up being voted best number two, it might be Cincinnati if they wanted to, and I wouldn't blame them too much. But, man, if they really wanted to, I wouldn't blame them too much. They put Alabama there. I don't know. Let me double check something real quick. If you guys can hear me, let me know in the comments. It keeps kind of buffering just a little bit on my end. I just want to make sure that it's good audio and everything here. How is this even a question? Hold on. Let me check the stream real quick. See if it's coming through. Let's see here. Sounds like it's coming through okay. So maybe it's just my computer, but it seems like it's okay for you guys. But y'all let me know. Anyway. So getting back to these rankings, Georgia is the clear-cut number one. And I know I've been tough on Georgia this year. I know I've said a few things. I know they're good. I know that they've been – like Kirby's been trying to build this program to where it is right now. He has been. Have they been a true contender every year? I mean, they've had chances in the SEC title, but they've also had some issues that you just look at and say, I know they're a good team, but I don't know if they're a title team. This year is the year with Stetson Bennett in Georgia or JT, whoever it is. I don't know. Does it really matter who they put at quarterback? They have the talent around them. The offensive line can protect the quarterback. And look, this whole thing with Alabama, I want them to win every game. I do. But first off, they've already taken a loss to A&M. And it's still a tough road. Can they win the West? Absolutely. Should they? They should. Are they going to? I'm going to stop saying that they're not going to, and I'm just going to say I don't know. Let's see how it plays out. Because if Auburn wins the rest of their games, especially the SEC, and they meet up at Jordan-Hare, and Auburn does get Alabama, then Alabama doesn't win the West. But if Alabama wins that, they're still alive. They still only have the one loss. And, look, they can win the SEC. So this is what you have. You see the top 15. Well, let me scroll down. 15 is Ole Miss. Where do these teams rank? I think it's fairly similar. Is Cincinnati really the number 2 team? You have in the top 5 4 undefeated teams. You have Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and Michigan. You got a number 3 who's a one-loss team in Alabama. But, of course, how they've looked after that loss to A&M, they shook it off. No big deal, just a game. Just take it. I'm going to say, I don't know. I'm going to say Georgia is number 1. I'm going to take a guess and say Cincinnati is not number 2, but maybe they're number 3 or 4. I put Oklahoma 2. I would put Oklahoma, because the past couple weeks they have figured it out with Caleb Williams, right? And maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel that maybe they could just keep going forward, and they just needed a spark and change a quarterback. I'm going to say Georgia 1. Here, let me write this out for you guys. Should I do maybe do top 6, the first 4 teams, and then I guess the first 2 out? I'll put this in for you guys. Hold on. I'll do the top 6. Honestly, I really just swapped around 2 teams. In 1 second, I'll put this up for you guys. So here's my top 6, what I think might happen. What's up, Lost Aggie? How you doing, man? It's good to see you in here. I haven't seen you in a while. We're doing good. I think it'll be Georgia, Cincinnati. I think you swap Alabama and Oklahoma. I think Michigan State's at 5 and Ohio State is at 6. So, I mean, it's similar to this, but I'm swapping Bama and Oklahoma. And I really don't get the whole Cincinnati's the number 2 team. I really don't think they're the second best team in college football right now, although they're definitely a top 5 team. They're looking like it. And they'll be ranked that high as long as they can keep it up and they don't lose a game. But are we really buying it? Because, I mean, look, I would give them credit. They beat Notre Dame. That's good. But who else? Truly, if Cincinnati played, and I'm not doubting it, I think they'd compete. I don't know if they'd beat Georgia. I don't know if they'd beat Alabama. They might beat Oklahoma. I don't know. Michigan State, maybe. I got to see it. I will say it is great to see a team like that get in there, but I've mentioned I like variety this year in college football. You have these Wake Forest, who's just right there at the bottom of the top 10, at number 10. You have your Michigan State out of nowhere. You have Ohio State. You expect them. You got a Michigan. We have 3 teams from the Big Ten in the top 10. You have 2 SEC teams. You got a Big 12 team. You got Notre Dame. You got Cincinnati. And you got Pac-12 with Oregon. And you got an ACC team in Wake Forest. Could Wake Forest make it in the playoffs? I think so. But here's the thing about Wake Forest. I do think, yes, the ACC is down. And there's other wrong. It's straight the schedule. Compare that to what Michigan State or Ohio State or any of the other teams that could qualify. Compare that to their record or, whatever. For Wake Forest to get in there, Michigan would have to lose again. 2-loss Michigan's not getting in there, regardless of what they do. Ohio State could drop another game. Let's say Michigan State beats them, hypothetically speaking. Michigan State would have to fall. It's not going to happen. Somebody's going to come out of the Big Ten into the playoffs. Unless Oklahoma slips up or whatever, you're getting the Big 12 in there. Baylor, too, I think only has the one loss. 7-1 here. You guys can see that. You have, I mean, there's a lot that would have to happen, I think, for a team like Wake Forest to get in. They can look good all they want to. But Oklahoma or Baylor for the Big 12 will get in. If Baylor ends up a one-loss Big 12 champ, they might actually get a spot in there. Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, whoever it might be from the Big Ten, they'll get it. I mean, there's a lot. I think, and I don't want to say that they shouldn't if it happens, but I don't know if they'll take a one-loss Cincinnati. Because I'm sorry, and I know that's where they play and everything. Their schedule's not all that great outside of the Notre Dame game, right? Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, still, it doesn't mean they're not a good team and they don't deserve a chance. Like, they're in a situation like Notre Dame. You don't have a conference, so you have to win out. Even though they do have a conference, it's just not a very good one. At the very least, comparable to what Oklahoma has with the SEC, with Georgia, Bama, Auburn. Those teams have, what Michigan State has. I think Cincinnati cannot lose a game. They have to get in. Or they don't have to get in, but they have to be undefeated if they want to get in. So anyway, I dropped the StreamYard link. If anyone wants to hop on, feel free to. Also kind of working on some math a little bit too. Got class tonight. But I can hear y'all and we can talk and everything. Lost Aggie says Wake Forest runs the table and they make a New Year's Six. See, that I'm counting on too. I think we have the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl for the semis this year. Wake Forest can make something like the Fiesta Bowl or the Peach Bowl. I'll have to double check. I think the Peach Bowl's like, hold on. Isn't that at-large teams? They qualify. I don't know. But yeah, I'd take Wake Forest on the New Year's Six. But there's certain ways, like there's certain setups. Like the Rose Bowl. I'll give you this. The Rose Bowl is, what is it, Pac-12 and Big Ten, I think, traditionally speaking. Unless it's a college football playoff semifinal, then it's whoever the committee wants to put in and where do they put them. Like last year was Alabama and Notre Dame. On a regular year for the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Notre Dame wouldn't necessarily play in there. You might have like you might have like, let's say, Oregon and Texas A&M. Or no, I'm sorry. Let's say like an Oregon, Michigan State. That's a Rose Bowl matchup, Big Ten, Pac-12, for like a normal year where it's not a semifinal. But anyways, you have all these teams. UTSA is undefeated. They're not doing anything. But let's say Baylor runs the table and they look good doing it, and they're the Big 12 champ, and I doubt that. I do think it's going to be Oklahoma. But Baylor could do it. They'd be in. There's still a lot that could happen. The one-loss teams, if you're a one-loss team, let's exclude Notre Dame because they're not in a conference. But your Ohio States, your Oregons, your Alabamas, Oklahoma State, and I'm even going to throw in Auburn at 6-2 because they have at least one conference loss to Georgia. Their other loss being Penn State, which Penn State's kind of taking some hits this year, some tough games with Iowa and Ohio State. But, Auburn has a good resume, and they're at least a one-loss SEC team. And when I say that, I mean for SEC play, they only have one loss. So does Alabama. Oh, Auburn can't make it. Auburn can't, even make it to the SEC title. They have only one SEC loss. So does Alabama. So does, Ole Miss lost Auburn. Look, there's still a lot that can happen. Still a lot to be played. But just keep watching the games this weekend. You got Michigan State, Purdue, Auburn A&M's the 3:30 game this week. Got to watch that. LSU, Bama. Now, I plan on going live for that. And that's only big because 2 years ago with the whole Joe Burrow thing in 2019 LSU, which I give them props, they went to the middle of the field and said it was their house. LSU's terrible. Why is that such a big game? You're just going to beat them. Exactly. They're going to show them that it's Bryant-Denny is the house of Alabama. That's it. Undefeated Wake Forest will be a playoff team. I'm not doubting that, Slim. Good to see you in here, by the way. Anyone's welcome in the stream, too. I'll drop the link again. But, yeah, I don't know if I want to say you're high if you don't believe that. The only thing I would say, though, is why would you leave out undefeated or one loss? No more than one loss. Okay, let's say, first off, if it is Alabama and Georgia, or whoever, if Georgia runs the table, you got to think about this. If Georgia only has one loss that is to Alabama or Auburn or whoever, which I don't think Auburn – I say Auburn could win the West. I'm not saying they can win the SEC. I don't really think that. But if Georgia has one loss and it's in the SEC, I would just say it can't be a big blowout, but they'll get in. And the SEC champ will get in, assuming it's let's say like a 28-21, right? Let's say it's against Alabama. Bama beats Georgia 28-21. Bama still only has one loss. Georgia now has one loss. But Georgia's looked good all year. They've literally looked like the best team, and you're going to leave that out because of a loss to Alabama. No, those two teams are in. A Baylor or Oklahoma. First off, an undefeated Cincinnati's in there. Okay, I'm losing myself just a little bit with this because, there's 4 spots. And I don't doubt what Slim is saying. I get it. I fully do. If Georgia loses the SEC, you might be right on that. I don't think that no, actually, I do think they should because, if you lose your conference championship, why should you make the playoff? And I guess that's kind of what you mean by that, Slim.
Ballard, Cincinnati's not making it at all. They have zero chance. The committee will not put Cincinnati in there, even if they're undefeated. People can hang the idea up. It's not going to happen.
All right. Listen, I don't think they should. I just figured,
if Georgia loses the SEC championship game and there's Ohio State, Oregon, and Oklahoma. Wake Forest or your other conference champs. Georgia's out.
All right. They're Sugar Bowl bound then. And I get that too.
I hate it for them. I think Georgia is one of the best 4 teams, but they'll be out because they'll be staring at a one-loss Ohio State, who just won the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
Or a Georgia that lost, or an Oregon that won and a Georgia that lost.
Right. No, I get it. I mean, it comes down to you have to – it's not that Georgia doesn't deserve a spot, but it's that you have these other champions that deserve a spot because they actually won their conference. And I get what you're saying there.
Losing the conference championship game will matter in that case.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. Now, like I said, I think Georgia is one of the best 4 teams.
Right.
But you lose that game, you're done. All right. And regardless of the team, any team comes undefeated out of the ACC, they're in the playoffs. That is 100%. It doesn't matter if it's Duke.
Well, it won't be Duke, first off. But, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Just using them as an example.
Yeah, I know. Now, let me ask you, are you buying a team like Michigan State this year? That's a team, in Michigan too, but like these Big Ten teams that we see in here still have to play the Buckeyes. In fact, if this is in Columbus, Michigan State's crap. Yeah, it is. Never mind.
Michigan losing that game doesn't make Michigan a bad team. I mean, it's a rivalry game, and weird things happen.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was kind of a fluky way to win there at the end anyway.
It was.
So I don't think that makes Michigan a bad team.
Oh, no. Losses don't make teams bad. It's how do you – like, Bama lost to an unranked team that shouldn't have won that game, and A&M still kind of sucks in ways. Okay, Alabama lost on the road in the SEC. They had a bad game. So what? They still look good in all their other games.
Texas A&M is talented. Texas A&M does have an elite defense, and Texas A&M does have an elite head coach.
That's true.
Texas A&M's problems started when they lost that superstar quarterback first game of the year. That was just bad.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I thought Miami's season was going to go downhill even worse when De'Aaron King, when they said he was going to be out for the year.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Tyler Van Dyke to come in here and blow up the way he has.
Yeah. It's still not what, at least preseason, I thought. I'm like, Miami's going to take the loss to Bama, but they'll be one of the better teams in the ACC, I think, outside of Clemson. Well, first off, Clemson's fallen off like we didn't expect. But at the same time, you mentioned the quarterback situation with De'Aaron King going down, and Miami's actually looked a little better than I thought they would after that whole debacle.
Well, I mean, he's not the only one. They lost him for the season. They lost an offense. I think it was the center for the season, and they lost 2 running backs for the season.
Wow.
All in the first 5 games.
Yeah.
And somehow or another, the offense is better. I mean, I'm not complaining. Just a little.
Yeah, I got you. And I'll tell you what, I know during the offseason and everything, especially Chess Hall, he was kind of saying stuff like, dude, Auburn's going to be terrible. Well, I think they're the best. First off, the best 2-loss team out there. And, you can't even say they're the only 2-loss team because there are a couple. But, look, they were in this position in 2017, and they were only 1 game away. It didn't go their way, obviously. But, You know,
Auburn's not terrible, but they're not
no.
impressive either.
No, that's true. I mean, but like I was trying to say, like they're at least to me a little bit better than what I expected them to be. That doesn't mean they're elite. That doesn't mean they're great, but they're good and they can compete. And they just, I mean, it's teams like that have just kind of, just done what they could with the season, and it's just kind of gone their way in some cases.
Yeah, but they have a glaring weakness in Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing what they've done off of sheer talent. They are a very talented team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Texas has looked better this year than I think a lot of people thought they would outside of Texas fans. Because you expect a drop-off first year of a new head coach.
You do.
Texas hasn't been terrible, and I think it's because, number one, they've got a good offensive mind there, but they're a talented team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, like there's a difference between like a bad team and having a bad year, I think too. I mean, it's like, who do I want to poke fun at?
I think Miami's a perfect example of it. They're not a bad team, they're just having a bad year.
There you go.
Clemson too. They're not a bad team, just having a bad year.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there. Penn State, they're having a bad year, but that doesn't mean they're a bad team. I mean, who did they first lose to? But Sean Clifford got hurt, and they lost to Iowa. That didn't make them a bad team. They had a hiccup in the road quarterback situation, and it cost them a game that maybe they could have had a chance to win.
I mean, looking back now, does anybody think that to me, it was obvious in the Alabama game, Derek King shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
I mean, is it out of the realm of possibility to say that, number one, that game's a whole lot closer, and number two, Miami's maybe 7-1 right now?
Yeah.
If Tyler Van Dyke had started out the season?
Yeah.
I mean, the way that offense is rolling, they're going to give any defense in the country fits. Now, their defense has taken a step back this year, but you know what? I can swallow that pill considering that defense has carried the team, 5 out of the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, your defense isn't as good this year. Okay, I mean, you've seen Alabama's defense take steps back and then step back up. So it happens.
Right. Like Alabama was not a bad team in 2019. They went 10-2 to Bama standards. That's a pretty, crappy year. It doesn't make them a bad team.
It was a bad team.
Right.
And then two is made out of glass.
Facts.
I mean, I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he can be a decent quarterback, but he was just dealt a shitty hand.
Yeah.
Ain't his fault. I mean, then again, that may change in the NFL too. I mean, Frank Gore blew out both of his knees in the NFL, and hell, he's still playing. He's at like 17, 18,000.
Yeah. What'd you say? It kind of cut out there.
Are you still shitting bricks over the Auburn game?
Oh, the Iron Bowl? No, I mean, look, all I was saying was that they had a chance. Slim drops out. I mean, look, Auburn has a chance. Of course, Alabama could win this game. I don't want to say they are or are not. I'm not. The Iron Bowl is something you don't screw with. You don't. It's the biggest rivalry in college football where anything can and probably will happen. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, everyone wants to sit there and be like, you're crazy if you think Alabama's losing this game. I don't know. Just be careful. It's really all you can do. I mean, Jordan Hare is a tough environment. Auburn is looking like a team that is, in my opinion, I think, they're improving each week. I like Brian Harsin. I thought the hire over the offseason was interesting. He did great at Boise State, and he seems to be doing okay in his first year as a head coach. I mean, he's in a position like Auburn was with Gus Malzahn in 2013. I think they only had one loss going into the Iron Bowl. I think they lost to like LSU or whoever. But Auburn's in a good position right now. They're an amazing overall historic program. And they've had some pretty crappy years in their history. But they've also had some pretty decent years where they had records that probably should have been worse than they were. And that's fair. They probably shouldn't be where they are right now. A 2-loss team that has only lost to Penn State and Georgia. Now, Penn State's fallen off a bit. But Georgia being the number one team, and for you to say that's one of our only losses for Auburn, oh, dude, they're having a good old party. They hate that they lost to a rival, I'm sure. But, I mean, when you look at it, it's like, we beat Ole Miss. And they did. And I'll tell you what, man, they beat them, but good. You look at them, you say, we've had a good year. We've had a good run so far. We beat Ole Miss. We competed in a whiteout at Penn State. Now, of course, they've had some cupcake games in there, like Alabama State or Akron. I think, did they already play Mississippi State? That might be. They get A&M this week. But anyways, I mean, they have beaten some teams. They have. So if you're an Auburn fan out there, be happy about this season. It's going great. You're doing good. Things are in a good direction. Thanks for coming on, Slim. I appreciate it. Anyone's welcome. Just kind of rambling on now. I don't. Iowa, and I said this too, they're a disappointing team so far this year. Well, not like so far, but like now it's like, they just dropped their second loss to Purdue or whatever? Or maybe that was last week. Like, they were on a roll. And I said this. right? Now, the defense showed up against Penn State, and Penn State's defense let the offense have it. And I'm not going to throw the players of Iowa under the bus or anything, but I mean, I said when they face an offense that they're going to need an offense to outscore. Forget the defense just trying to shut them down. Forget that. Oh, they got the defense. They can shut the offense down. They're still going to put some points up. Does Iowa have that kind of offense to put points up right back and answer? And that's really been my issue with Iowa. They got the defense. They don't have the offense to keep up with it. I bet you if they played Ohio State right now, Ohio State would kill them. I bet you it would be something like 28-10. Defense would maybe give them 4 touchdowns. Okay, defense is great, but this offense is good enough they can score at least 4 touchdowns on you. They're giving up only 10 to you. Anyway. Hold on, let me write this. The West then implodes when A&M also beats Ole Miss and Auburn wins the Iron Bowl. Mississippi State upsets Ole Miss. Yeah, I mean, look, Auburn and Alabama right now are in the driver's. I mean, A&M might beat. They might get Ole Miss. Auburn wins the Iron Bowl. Okay. Mississippi State pulls an upset over Ole Miss. Auburn's definitely in the SEC then. That's definitely some chaos. Because then Ole Miss has 4 losses, I'd say. Let's see. Bama, Auburn. You're saying A&M will beat them. Mississippi State gets them. They'd be 8-4. Auburn wins the Iron Bowl. Okay. I can roll with that. I mean, I could see that happening. So, how about the World Series too? I mean, so the Astros and the Braves. I think the Braves are 1 win away, aren't they? Let me double check where we're at with this. Hold on. I think Game 5 or. It's on tonight, Game 6. So the Astros need to win if they want to force a Game 7 tonight at 8:09 Eastern. I think the Braves could get it. I think they could. I also think. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me either way. I don't like the Astros. But still. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they won. I know the Astros are a great team. I don't like them, but you know, I want the Braves to win. I think the Braves could win. But we'll just have to watch and see. I don't know. Let me try something here. Um, I don't think Wake Forest has beaten any ranked teams, have they? See, that's the thing too. Is like we talk about all these teams that could get in, and I keep forgetting to bring up resumes. I mean, like, okay, Cincinnati's best win is Notre Dame. It's not bad. That's not a bad thing. But I mean, what compare that to? Well, I mean, look. I don't know who you want to compare it to, honestly. I don't. The bottom line is this: there's going to be 4 teams in there, and Slim, I get what you're saying about Georgia losing the SEC and being out. I mean, I get that. I understand it. And you might be right. I don't know. I don't know. Michigan State, as far as ranked wins, first off, they're undefeated right now. What are they? 6-0, 7-0, whatever it is right now. 8-0, I'm sorry. They have beaten, as far as ranked teams, they were unranked week 3, and they beat on the road a 24 Miami team, 38-17. I know Miami's kind of fallen off a little bit, and they're not looking like, I mean, that's kind of fading, but they did beat a ranked team when they were unranked. They did it on the road. They won in overtime against Nebraska. They won against Western Kentucky. That was a struggle game that got out of hand, but they pulled it out. They beat number 6 Michigan. They have 2 ranked wins. At least those teams were ranked at the time. Michigan's still ranked, but like the Miami's kind of. See, and that's the thing too. Is I hate like, oh, they had a ranked win against this team, but this team, look where they are now. They went from looking like they were going to go 10-2 to now they're like 5-7, and they suck. How is that? Like, okay, let me double check Miami's record right now. Let me double check. They're not ranked. They are 4-4. Let's say they end up 5-7, hypothetically speaking. I doubt that. They might get more than just one more win. But let's say it's a 5-7 Miami team, right? And Michigan ends up falling off a bit more. That's not their only loss, and they go 9-3 or really fall. All this hypothetically speaking, by the way. How is that Michigan State's fault that the teams they beat that were ranked when they beat them fell off? Well, that's not a good win now because this team fell off and ended up being one of the worst teams in their conference. What? That's not on the opponent that beat them. That's not. Whatever. I really do think a team like Michigan State is legit. They got to go play Ohio State here pretty soon. Did they get the win? I think Ohio State might win that game, but I mean, it's possible. Got it. All right. Sorry that I'm quiet. I'm also trying to work on some math too, anyways. But yeah, I mean, look, college football this season has been amazing. And you know, I mentioned too, it's great to see the different variety of teams that are available that are still alive for the playoffs too. I will be free this Saturday, so I think I'm going to try to go live for. Well, let me double check. Probably the Alabama game. We're supposed to play LSU. Unless I got stuff going on, I'm probably going to help my grandfather with some stuff, so we'll see. But I would hope to go live for the game this Saturday. There's really not a whole lot. Let me see. Top 25 matchups. Georgia, Missouri at noon, really. Michigan State, Purdue. Auburn A&M at 2:30. All Central Time, by the way. Indiana, Michigan, really? That's a snooze fest. Kentucky, Tennessee? That could be something. I'll probably stick to the Bama LSU game, though. It being a rivalry. Alabama's already opened up. And this is how bad of a team LSU is, that they are favoring Alabama by 28.5. There's a 5.5% chance LSU wins this game. Trying. Anyway, I really don't have much else to talk about. I mean, you got the World Series going on. You got the playoff rankings out tonight. I brought that up earlier. What I thought I don't have it up yet. Hold on, let me try. I go back and show you guys. Who did I have? I think I had Georgia number 1. I think I had Cincinnati or whoever number 2. I mean, I think that it's going to be fairly similar to what the AP poll looks like. It's not going to be exact, I mean, it might be if they really wanted to do that, because I think the AP poll how it is right now is pretty. It's reasonable, but just have to wait and see. Let me check the comments here. Let me see. What's up, LW? Roll Tide. Let's see. Miami, Clemson, and North Carolina played the same schedule and were undefeated. They'd be in the top 5. Wake Forest is a top 5 team, but it's true. Same record. Clemson would be 2. Okay. Take LSU to cover. Bama gives up too many garbage touchdowns late. Just kind of lets them have it. Yeah, I can see that. And I don't know if it's one of those is it the defense giving up towards the end just a little bit like they do? I mean, maybe, but still. Anyway, yeah, I really don't have much else. Just kind of want to come on here, talk some college football with you guys for a bit, whatever. But yeah, So yeah, I'll try to go live for the LSU Bama game this Saturday. I think it's definitely going to be a good one. There's not a whole lot of teams really good matchups playing this weekend, but yeah. And again, it's not. Maybe it is predictable. I hate predictability in college football, but I mean, I get it. Now when you get down to the championship weekend and you actually have it officially set, it's like, then it's like, okay, it's. This team going to be that team. Let's say you had Purdue and Ohio State. I know they beat them a few years ago, but let's say the spread's like 20. Let's say the Big Ten is just having one of those bad years. Hypothetically speaking, Purdue wins the West. You got Ohio State out of the East. State's favored by like 20 or 30. It's huge. It's predictable they're going to get that. But you have some good teams out there that could still win that East Division. I mentioned Michigan State. It's getting lower each time. Michigan could still win it. They just are in a position where they have to hope that Michigan State drops a couple and that they can beat Ohio State and win out. But still. Anyway, I guess I'll try to get out of here. I just wanted to talk with you guys for a little bit. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hit the thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Subscribe for more sports content. As always, happy holidays too. We're in the month of November. Thanksgiving coming up in a few weeks. Christmas is around the corner. Hope everyone had a good Halloween too on Sunday. And look, there's plenty of college football left. Plenty to talk about, plenty of games to watch and react to. I'm bringing all the great coverage to you very soon right here on Ballard Sports Media. Love you guys. Keep your head up. Jesus loves you. God bless. And as always, roll tide roll. Ballard Sports Media is checking out. Bye.
it really doesn't matter what you say.
Okay.
Roll down Tide.